Hey guys, today I'm here with Paul, and we're going to be talking specifically about how to land local businesses as clients. The topic I'm super interested in. Paul was kind of telling me some stats around 90% of his clients are actually within a 50-mile radius. Paul, welcome, and how are you?
Chase, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be on.
Yeah, dude, stoked to have you here. So, did I get that correct? 90% of your clients currently are within a 50-mile radius of you?
Yes. So 90% of our digital marketing clients are within a 90-mile radius of little old York, Pennsylvania. And for those who might be more national, international, I'll give you a little fun facts in terms of geography. So if you're familiar with Washington, D.C. and the United States, York, Pennsylvania is directly like 2 hours north of that particular point. And then about 2 hours west of Philadelphia. So right over the Maryland line. Super interesting geography. It's kind of like a tier 4 city, small town feel vibe. But over the past 3 years, I've been kind of started off as a freelancer and has been able to build an agency where I'm servicing multiple small to medium-sized businesses and clients in this particular area.
Amazing, dude. Well, I'm going to let you tee up your presentation that you got for us. And while you're doing that, kind of crazy to think about. Like, I don't actually even know where a lot of my clients live or are based. I've never met them. I couldn't drive to their house. So I'm kind of curious to see and hear what you have to say today.
Oh, really? That's interesting. And I feel like, honestly, it might be for most of the people out there too. It's just like, how local are my clients? Do I really know them outside their goals and the scope of work that I'm doing for them? As we go through this discussion today, the fact that Schiffbauer Consulting Group has 90% of its clients within a 50-mile radius is very intentional. And I made sure it was that way.
Love it. Well, dude, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'll let you present and I'll hop in if I have any questions.
Absolutely. Sounds great, Chase. So bear with me 1 second. Let me get this queued up here for us. All right. Share screen.
Awesome.
Okay.
Looks great, man. The floor is yours.
Awesome. So let me get the play button here so we can see nice and big for everybody at home. So how to land local businesses as clients. So I told a little bit about me. I was going to kind of give an overview of the overall consulting group as a whole. It is an agency model in part, but I consider Schiffbauer Consulting Group more of a marketing consultancy because of what we do is more kind of consultative in nature based on a client's particular goals. But you'll get a feel for that here in a little bit. So just a little bit more about us and really our core value proposition. This is something we're going to really touch on here in a few minutes. When it comes to, gaining local businesses as clients is we're personal. I really take, and my team overall, we take a white glove service approach when we tailor each client relationship to what's best aligned with their goals, even with our core offerings. We're really big on tell us more about, your competitors in the local market, the national market. What kind of factors in a community standpoint might drive business or hurt business? We're also small business experts. My partners and I collectively have over 50 years of experience running our own businesses. So that provides a lot of value to my core clientele in my local market. And we're big on, being results driven. It's really no bullshit we're offering these folks out there. Part of my friendship, that's not allowed, Chase. Outside of personalized strategy, we really focus on developing measurable and attainable results with every client we work with by leveraging analytics and any kind of implementation that we do. I love this quote. This is from some previous promo material that we put out in our first year of existence back in 2018. A little bit about me. Having run a business prior, and then my father also ran a business where he had a tavern for 23 years. It's really our core values of understanding small business. We really collectively as a consulting group have really positioned ourselves in this local York market as approachable local experts who are known for implementing, high-pack marketing solutions for business owners we run with, because we know what it takes to run a business. And that's very key when it comes to connecting with these folks out there. So let's get to it. Whatever you're a freelancer or you're running an agency, we all have to relate to your prospect. or ideal prospect at the end of the day to, get that client, whatever we have one or the next one. So whatever service you're offering, it's very key. And everyone preaches this out there, but you got to identify the potential pains and gains your ideal prospect has. Are they looking for more revenue? Are they having difficulty in terms of, driving further leads for their business, whatever be through Google or Facebook ads? Their pains and gains are going to differ. But on a local level, in terms of really appealing to local businesses in your community, you got to go a little deeper. You got to identify the pains and gains, but also look to build rapport so they would even consider you. If those local businesses in your community, are, ideal prospects for you, they don't know you, you got to build some kind of trust and rapport outside your offer, or at least it helps from my experience. And two ways of doing this is establishing a community connection or a connection to that prospect specific business. And I'll give examples of both of those. So the community connection. How does the prospect, relate to you and you relate to him ultimately? Let's say it's Sal's Pizzeria and you're trying to pick him up, as a PPC client ongoing. Are you and Sal from the same town? What does Sal do that might be, you able to tie two and two together? We're like, hey, Sal, I saw you did this little fundraiser. It was really cool. This is something you're trying to further do to promote your business, and build your business. Here's my X offer. Establishing that kind of connection goes a long way, even if that particular, prospect does not know you by name. Mention how you're local, mention your connections to the community, and then kind of going even further, mention your connection to that prospect's business. Are you a customer? From my experience, that helps out quite a bit. Are you a fan or advocate or cheerleader of that business? Maybe, you've heard they've done some good things. Like I mentioned the Sal's Pizzeria example about them doing good fundraising community work. Mention that in any kind of initial outreach before you pitch your offer, because these guys out there, they get bombarded with cold email after cold email, cold call after cold call. You really got to make yourself stand out in one way or another. And this kind of ties in, okay, Paul, I'm listening to you out there. I don't really have any connections in my community. Well, you're going to have to build community in some retrospect. I'm a firm believer, Chase, and those listening out there, where people have a lot of opinions on what marketing is. To me, it's 50%, behavioral, and 50% of really the expertise and the actual execution and skills that you bring to the table. But at its core, if I could sum it up in one word, it's community. It's connecting one audience to another with whatever product or service that you may be offering, whatever it be Sal's Pizzas or, Ed's roof replacements. One way I've been able to do this, and I'll kind of walk through examples as I mention this, is in-person networking events. And a really key indicator here too, for those, who still might be impacted by COVID and this, in-person restrictions in general, is just networking digitally with those in your community. And ultimately, over time, bridging the gap between the two. One thing that I did in my community, for example, it was January 1st, 2020. So this is before any kind of shutdowns worldwide. I created a group called Mason-Dixon Business Connection on Facebook because I saw an opportunity to further connect business owners online in this area called the Mason-Dixon line. So South Central Pennsylvania, Northern Baltimore County, which is my primary market within that 50-mile radius that I previously mentioned. And with that, I created that group and currently has over 500 members. I've gained clients from this group directly just because, able to facilitate and conversations and have those network within the group and outside the group. Some examples of the activities that, have went down in this group and have occurred. Let's say it's a contractor looking for maybe an electrician to help him out on a job, at least something that he's out of his scope. I've seen that plenty of times. That's something that happens at least once a week, which is amazing to see this online group be able to kind of take shape. And with that too, it's allowed myself and my partners to really establish Schiffbauer Consulting Group as a visible expert in the community as like a marketing voice. And I mentioned earlier, be able to kind of gain clients from that. So if you're out there and looking to land local businesses in your community as clients, if you search your area, whatever, be Springfield, Illinois, or York, Pennsylvania, you don't have some kind of community group about your neighborhood or that connects your business owners, that is low-hanging fruit that you can take advantage of today, is creating that group. What I would mention too, some questions to kind of consider for those listening out there is, when you are building community, what common characteristics do you have to those in your marketplace outside, the value you might be able to provide them from a product and service standpoint? And what do you need to further develop to get there? And that kind of ties into my next point I want to highlight. And that's something I constantly improve and refine over time. It's sharpening your value proposition. The first slide I kind of went over, and as I kind of gave my little battle about what we do at Schiffbauer Consulting Group, is really outlining the 3 key points why people ultimately choose to work with us and partner with us. Regardless of what you see online about freelancing and building an agency, it is vital to understand your market and what they need at the end of the day. Part of this process revolves around sharpening your skill sets over time to best deliver value to those in your respective community. So over time, my offer looks completely different today than it did May of 2018, where May of 2018, it was more done for you, social media management. Let's make the content. Let's put the copy out. And now it's really 2 core offers where we have clients that feel they come in, where we have something called digital optimization, which is essentially our process and lens on, website updates and overall hauling any kind of digital presence a small business might have. And the other verticals, local leads, where it's PPC services that we have from a process standpoint. We just add a strategy component to it where it makes it very localized for that particular prospect. And in terms of sharpening this, your value proposition, your toolbox, this is something you should be constantly doing over time, regardless of the wins and losses you may be occurring in your business. I think one thing every freelancer agency owner out there can do is constantly getting feedback from your current clients, previous prospects, and who I would like to consider power partners in your community. It might be a referral partner. It might be those in the business community that you might not directly do business with, but they respect you. And, they're kind of like champions to your cause. Like, hey, I'm Brian and I do law, but you got to talk to Paul and work with Paul and his team when it comes to digital marketing. That leads into, this is almost kind of a circle of life fashion. We can get any particulars that Chase might have in terms of questions. And this is being in the market, which kind of relates to slide 2, but this is something that you constantly should be doing outside building community. It's constantly being present. It's to really dominate a local market, you got to be out there. So whatever, be continually doing great work and pushing out the results out there, putting out case studies, video testimonials. If you don't have a video testimonial, side note, absolutely develop one when you have some great results with a client, because it speaks for itself. I've recently developed one for my consulting group, and it literally books appointments by itself when I just send it over to the prospects. But with that, it's just being present, top of mind, Facebook groups, in-person networking events that you may host and take on, or as you're starting off, make sure you're getting out there and going to ones that are already out there in your community, because being present will allow you to continually gain new clients over the course of time. And in this kind of circle of life, I know I kind of of localized marketing, I know kind of come full circle here in terms of these broad topics. If there's one saying that sums up my success of gaining small business clients more than anything, it's knowing your market. It's being out there, listening, participating, because if you know your market, you'll be able to help your market. And when you help your market, a byproduct of that is growing your business and seeing those results and those revenues going up from month to month. So, Chase, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have further. I know it was super broad, but honestly, when it comes to connecting to these folks, it's very, behavioral and from a psychology standpoint more than anything.
I love it, dude. This was sick. I learned a lot. I have two questions. One is
Go ahead.
how big is the team? And then two, right? Obviously, with a localized agency, I got to imagine most of your people too are within your kind of geography. Is that accurate, or do you have people that work for you that are kind of global or nationwide?
Oh yeah, you'll love this. So team of 5, including myself, we're lean and mean. We do great work. Um, Ironically enough, 2 are completely out of state. So one lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Have worked for him about 2.5 going on 3 years. I've officially met him in person just past June, 2 months ago, or about 3 months ago now. I've never met him in person. We just did work virtually, connected via Twitter of all things. Shout out to this building relationships on Twitter. And then the other one, he originally was from the area, but now he lives in Texas, outside the Dallas market.
Right on, man. Well, you are fantastic. Your info is on these slides. So that's your phone number. That's your website. And what is your Twitter handle?
Yeah, my Twitter handle is Young Marketer. So it's Young like Dirty South rappers like Young Berg and the whole light. So YUNG Marketer, MARKETER.
Amazing, man. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. I'll have all your links below. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Chase.
All right, man. Cheers.